All right, 97%, that's not too bad. And we are recording. Beautiful. How are we going? I'm going to keep the camera pointing forward. You can see what I'm looking at when I'm paddling. Now, actually, what is it? Spin around this way. Oh, that's not too bad, actually. Oh, I couldn't do that last time. I sit there. I didn't do it like this last time because charging my phone. I had to charge my phone first thing in the morning. Alright, so now with these ranges, now I got to Gumbower. I sat there and got kicked out of Gumbower. I got kicked out of national parks. Now I've been told that I've been banned from national parks for 5 years. Now I don't know if that's actually true or not because I never got an email. They caught me literally red-handed. I was crouched down at one of the traps setting it up. Actually, this was a new one I'm putting in. It was my 8th one. It was my 8th one I was putting in, if I remember correctly. And they caught me red-handed with it. Absolutely red-handed. I sat there, literally hooking it up. And I don't think they noticed it right at the very start, but then they're going, well, because I must have got out of the car and they sort of wandered over and said, "How you going, mate?" Like this. And then I turned around and I'm going, like this. And I sat there and they're going, "Well, what do you have here?" Like this. And I'm going, like this, and I'm trying to sit there and explain to him, and I'll just, like a little kid caught, in the pantry, with freaking chocolate in his hands or something, I didn't know what to say, and he's going, "Rightio, mate, how many have you got, what's going on here," and all that sort of stuff, so I had to explain to him, and they dragged me into town, they dragged me into Canoe, into an office in Canoe, and sat there and sat me down and sort of, I went in, I didn't have to go in, they told me I didn't have to go in, but if I didn't go in, actually I'll spin this around, I feel like there we go. It doesn't feel right. Yeah, I sat there and I'll turn it around whenever we've got something fancy to look at. Now, I sat there and told them that I was just trying to live off the land. I was sitting there trying to live off the land and trying to catch the food I eat. Right? I did lie to them a little bit and told them I lost my job for COVID, and it's sort of why I'm doing this trip, just to sort of have a bit of, I don't know if anyone, I can't remember, I did it a little bit before I left, but that's I do that so I don't have to have shampoo, so I can keep it clean. So crew cut. I'll go through my gear tonight when I stop at a spot. I don't know if we're going to get rain or not. I did sprinkle a little bit in the last video, but not enough for me to feel. I had my hand out trying to feel it, but I couldn't feel it, but I could see it on the water surface. In fact, it's freaking gorgeous this morning. I've got people over here watching me go past. I'm going very slow, very, very slow. Alright, so yeah, I got caught with these animals. I sat there and just told them I'm eating everything I catch, blah, blah, this, and I started talking about poaching and that sort of stuff, and I turned around, because I complied with them everything. They asked me how many I had, said 8 of them. Alright, Charles, they took all photos of that. They took photos of my licence, so I could have my licence details, that sort of stuff. They took me into town, and they told me I didn't have to go in with them, but if I didn't go in with them, they were going to bring cops back anyway, because they had to find out what's going on. I've got traps in a national park, obviously very illegal, very, very, very illegal. So I sat there and got dragged into town. They took me into town and said, sat me down and just asked me a few questions and that sort of stuff. And I answered them, honestly. I told them everything that was going on, except for the losing my job bit. I told them I lost my job. I didn't want to tell them I quit my job, but I told them I lost my job. And I sat there and got dropped back off at my campsite. And they told me that I couldn't leave anywhere, couldn't go anywhere, because they would have more questions. But while I was in the interview, in the actual office, so I don't think it was like a Parks Victoria office. I think it was just an old office, just like a dingy old office, And if it is a Parks Victoria office, I need to pick up their game a bit, I tell you. So I don't know if they just use it. But I sat there and spoke to them, told them what was going on, all that sort of stuff. And I had to actually get a little bit forceful, not forceful, but I said to stop saying poaching like this. If you keep saying poaching, I'll stop answering questions, and that's it, done. Right, I will comply with you, I'll talk to you and let you know. If you keep going about poaching and me poaching and all that sort of stuff, because they're thinking I'm making money out of it. And look at the setup I've got. You might make money out of it. I'd have a hell of a lot better setup. Now, I had a pretty good setup there, but the traps themselves. See, look at the freaking traps I've got. They go, oh, that could be a ruse just to make it look like, oh, well, mate, yeah, I'm catching less than one animal a day. You know, that's, you know, like, yeah, I'm not, it's not, just stop saying poaching. That's it, you know. Yeah, just stop saying poaching. That's all I want you to do, stop saying poaching, because it's not what I'm doing. I'm not poaching, I'm not making money out of this. I'm just trying to live. I'm just trying to survive, basically. So, anyway, they sort of stopped doing that, and that was it. That was, that dropped me back off. And they started getting pretty interested in my story after that. I think they started believing me after a while. It was the old guy. There was a guy about 50, 55-ish that kept sitting there talking about the poaching side of things. And, like, after, on the way back in their ute, they sort of started asking about it. You know, how long have you been on the river? What are you doing? What are you doing? This and that and everything else and blah, blah, blah. So what have you done along the river and all that sort of stuff? And I told them. So they were quite interested. They were nice guys after that, but the old guy was just an absolute arsehole to start with. Now, I don't blame him. You know, if he thinks I'm sitting there poaching animals in a national park, you know, I don't blame him for being angry. But, yeah, I sat there and said, stop saying poaching. If you keep saying poaching, interview's over. Done. You can bring the cops in. You know? I'm not saying poaching, and I won't say another word until somebody's here. Yeah, that's it. Interview will be over. And what is it? Nola. I've got Nola, Dan, Ali. It looks like an old water heater type sort of deal. Probably off an old steam paddle thing. It looks like a hot water tank, like a steam tank. And it's got in like graffiti type writing. Ali, Dan, and Nola. There's a houseboat just passed as well, so it's probably their families. They've probably done it themselves. People camped along the river. I wonder if it's Easter this week. There's a hell of a lot of people out. A hell of a lot of people. I thought Easter was last weekend. I've lost all sense of what's going on in the world, in the week, I don't know. I think today's Friday. If I remember correctly, I think today's Friday. So today could be Good Friday. I don't know. Just a hell of a lot of campers out. There's more this week than there was last weekend. That's why I think it must be Easter this week. Because I know last week although the spot I stopped at last week was really shit. For the weekend, one of the spots, I stayed there for 2 days. I think I was there on the Friday, and I left on the Sunday. Because I thought it was the Easter weekend, and I didn't think I'd find many spots to sit there and camp on the Saturday night. So I stopped on the Friday. I didn't think I'd find a camping spot on the Saturday night, you know, because obviously being a long weekend is quite hard. They can get quite hard to find. You know, and I don't have the option to sort of gun it down the river to find the next spot. You know, if I want to go a kilometre, it takes me like 25-30 minutes. You know, about 20-25 minutes to go a kilometre down the river. You know, so, yeah, I don't know. I've got to sort of sit there. So last week I stopped, and I actually cleaned everything out. I got everything out of the boat, cleaned the bottom of the boat out, although you wouldn't know it now, looking at it. Cleaned everything out. I'll do that every now and again. Clean my clothes, clean me. I was all smelly. I smelled nice. Yeah, so that was last weekend. And that's what I said, that's what I'm saying. I thought last weekend was Easter, but maybe it's this weekend. Daniel was telling me about some news when I saw him back 264 kilometres to go. Actually, I'll try and get into this one. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this one very well. I wonder if these are right. Like I was saying in the first video, I've got to spin you around. Now, I don't think I'm going to get you close enough to see this. Let's get that up there so you can see it. I'm going to point this way a little bit until I get a bit closer to the bank, and hopefully I won't run into a snag this time. I've already checked it. Yeah, I got distracted in the last video with a snag. I nearly run into it actually. Alright, I'm going to get you closer to this sign, and we should be able to see it. It's a little bit faded, but you should be able to read it. It says 264, and normally a lot bluer, but this is a very old one. Or it's seen the weather a fair bit, or both. Let's spin around a bit. I'll start pointing a bit closer so we can sort of sit there. They're the cockatiels you can hear. Cockatoos are worse. These guys don't make quite a screeching sound when they're... So let's spin around just a little bit. Alright, if you can see that, and I'll try and sort of stay on it a bit so you can sort of get a bit closer. There we go, I can see it, so you should be able to see it. Alright, that's how many kilometres are left to the end of the river. Now, like I said, I've got a funny feeling these signs are out. Because I definitely know that when I was at, I'm spinning around. When I was at, actually that's not too bad at all actually. When I was at, oh no I don't like it, it's cut my head off. I'm too pretty for that. Actually my hat's too pretty for that. Thank you Swissport. I sat there and got to a point in the river where the map showed like a bit of a kink in the river, and the reason I really definitely know that is because that's where it turned around and said, because on the map, and I'll show you the maps in a second, it's very good. They've got little they've got icons on there that show you like tent sites so you can camp there. You know, caravan parks, monuments, everything. They're really good books, really good books. Spatial vision maps. Probably too big for a proper kayaker. Now they're 16 books, but if you've got a houseboat or something like that, and most of the information I've gotten so far is accurate. Even though a lot of them are like, you know, a lot of them are actually from 2006 or 2007 or something, so like 16 years old. But all the information, like the campsites are still there, you know, things are still there. What do we got? Portee Landing, Portee Landing, Portee Landing. I don't know what all that means. There's a lot of landings, blah 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 landings. I don't know what they mean. I don't know if they're open to the public or not. There's a lot of the places here are private property, so it makes it really hard to find someone else. In fact, not last night, the night before, I think I slept on right next to some houseboats on somebody's private property, and there were people on the back of one of the houseboats. But I was going to go up and say, oh, can I stay here? No, this is all right. But I didn't want to say no, so I just didn't ask them at all. I just stopped and stayed. Yeah, I wouldn't normally do that, but it was literally only about half an hour until sunset, so I had no option, because I can't be at night time because I don't have lights on my boat. You know, you can't be on the river, you can't be going down the river if you don't have lights, like those the green and red ones. Now, just with that green triangle, I showed you that green triangle, I didn't really finish it off. So, I went onto the right-hand side of the river, because that's what the things say. So, if you're coming up the other way, then you have to be on the same side of the river. So it's actually like when you're on the river just travelling normally, yeah, you've got to be on the right hand side. So even when you turn around facing the other way, that's your right hand side. You're over that side now, going that way. I'm on the right hand side going this way. But when you're coming up river, because it looks confusing when they explain it on the sign. There's signs on locks, and in fact you might be able to see one on the lock video. I think I pointed it out. If you have a look on the left-hand side, there's a sign that says, going down river, you've got to be on the left-hand side of the red ones and on the right-hand side of the green ones, right? Which is what I'm doing now. So, right-hand side, left-hand side. But when you're coming up river, it's the opposite way around, because it's all about being on the correct side of the river. Because those signs get put around snags and shallow water and that, well, yeah, you've got to be on this side of the river. Whether you're coming up or down, you've got to be on this side of the river. So it gets a little bit confusing. That's what I was saying about the left and right. You know, like I sit there and, so the way I remember it is red is on my right. So that means, even though I've got to be on the left of the sign, that sign has to be on my right-hand side. So red is on my right, R and R. You know, so that's the way I remember it. Maybe a way for you to remember it if you ever get up on the river and you can't remember. Red is on my right. So that sign has got to be on your right-hand side, the red one. Yeah, so that means you've got to be on the left-hand side of the river. Oh. Sorry about that. No, I'm just hooked up then. It just comes out of nowhere sometimes. I don't know what it is. Right. Alright, while we're sort of floating around in that direction, I'm going to stand up and show you my canoe. Right, this is from when I'm sitting down. So that pretty much the phone's right in front of my face, so obviously I get a wider view of that. I'll spin it around. Let's have a look. So we've got the rock still there. Excuse me. So now we're just floating at the moment. Actually, we're not doing too bad at the moment. It's a little bit quicker. Alright, so let's go through my canoe while I'm standing in it. Right, obviously solar panel. If you have a look there, and I'm getting a bit closer, you can see the bolts holding it on. So I've had to drill holes into the solar panel itself. and bolt it down. I've got one set up there, one set up there. So that's the solar panel, and that's hooked up to a battery, which is hooked up to a motor and my phone. All right, well, it's not hooked up to my phone at the moment, but it keeps my phone charged. If I zoom in there, oh, sorry. You'll see they're U-bolts. All right, they're holding on the table. That's just a trestle table from Bunnings, $60. I was going to get one from the camping store, but like $100, and this is $60. So that's my bedroll. So there's a yoga mat and a I can't keep my finger out because it keeps focusing. That is my bedroll. So it's a yoga mat and a what they call a self-inflating self-inflating mattress. So it's got foam on the inside of it, and you can see, if I zoom in a bit, you can see the lugs there, right? The what do you call them? The valve, right? Now, that valve, all you have to do is open it up, and the foam expands and sucks the air in through those valves, and all you have to do is close those valves off. Now they look really good valves, but they failed. I'm spewing. So basically, I don't even close them up anymore because it's just not worth it. I just leave them open, and the reason I got that one because I knew, I know airbeds fail on them, and this feels like it's a good one, but it's just the valve itself, just knackered, not the mattress. There's no holes in it, and I can hear the air coming out slowly. A couple of little Cessnas going round. Oh no, there's one Cessna on one truck. Sorry. Sounds like a plane because of that where the hills are there. Like it sounds like it's coming from the air. Yeah, so those valves are knackered, so I don't want to worry about doing it up. So that's my bedroll. Underneath there is my tent. It's a Denali Zephyr 2, I think it's called. $500 worth. Very good tent. Very worth buying it. I put it through its paces and it's doing all right. Tent poles themselves aren't the greatest, but it's only a hiking tent, so they try and make it as light as possible. So I've got a heap of other tent poles, tent pegs I've had to use sometimes in the harder ground, but it is a hiking tent, so I try and keep the weight down. In that box there, underneath the cloth, is my tent, my sleeping bag, and my teddy bear. I do have a teddy bear there. It's one I had when I was a kid. I just haven't been able, when I was a baby, I just haven't been able to throw it out. I've had it my whole life, and I've got it in there to protect it from the rain. Although there is a hole in that box now. I don't know how it got in there. I must have dropped something. So there's a hole in the side, so I've just got to be careful. And you can see, I'll zoom in a bit, you can see the water. That's how much water comes off my paddle. You can see the water down the side of the thing there. You can see the water on the top, on the seat there. That's how much water comes off a paddle, so it gets very wet. That's a bucket, that's an overnight bucket, so that's got, normally my binoculars sit on this bucket just here, the clear one, because I like to use them to see things that are a little bit far away that I think might be interesting. That's part of the trip for me, I suppose. Now, in there it's got torches, a couple of long tent pegs for pegging down my boat up against the bank. If I can't find a tree, then I'll put a decent sized tent peg in the ground and tie my boat to that. Lighters, it's an overnight thing, so anything I need on the bank, because I don't empty out my canoe every night. I only take out the main things, which is sleeping bag, tent, chair, bedroll, and that bucket. That's it. I don't take anything else out. And I have to take this out, and that's not because I need it, it's just for security. That has got my passport and important stuff in there, and I'll go through that in a sec. So there's a big box under there. You can see the handle, the blue handle there. That big box is my clothing. There's like 5 changes of clothes, plus jackets and stuff like that. You can see the shovel and that white bucket underneath. And I've got toilet paper, so I use that in the toilet in the bush. I'm kind of guessing you can work out what it's used for. You'll see some oil and some tomato sauce. I'll be using that today, I reckon. I've got to have something to eat, decent to eat. All right, that's the end of the canoe. In the green bag, there's green bags right up the very end. Let's zoom in a bit. Green bags, they're just actual camping stuff. I've got like a machete type sort of deal. I've got a light that I can plug into my battery box, and just camping stuff really. That tin there is what I've been cooking on. It's just like a paint tin that is got holes in it that acts like a bit like a 44-gallon drum. That bucket there, that container there, has got toilet paper, It's was meant to be 12 months worth. It is still 12 months worth. There's a small tarp up there, straightforward. Just empty bags, and that's it. My hat, that's for the sun. Oh, let's zoom back out. My hat, Crocs, and that's basically how I set my tent. I've got everything up this end of it, up this end of the canoe, so that, because when I come up to a bank, I have to reverse in. Because I've got those outriggers, I can't pull up to the side like normal. I have to sort of spin myself around and reverse into the thing, which I do quite well. But I have to keep everything up this end of the canoe so that I can reach it almost from the bank, or so it's easy to get to. Anything right at the very other end. Actually, if you have a look, I'll try and get up there. I'll zoom in a bit. You can see a 10-litre barrel there underneath the paint tin. And you can actually see a small, if you look, if you see that, that's a narrow, a really thin box. That's a toolbox. That's actually got like spanners and screwdrivers, just in case. Like I said, this trip was I didn't say it actually, this trip was meant to be 1 year long, but because I got kicked out of the national park and I can't catch food, I've decided to make my way all the way down now. Alright, yeah. In the end here, you will see that that's the end. I've got my rope to come to the bank, shopping bags to be able to go in, and straightforward. Now, this is my seat. This is what I've had to do to make it comfortable. I've got one of those, what do you call it? The covers for your outdoor setting, for the outdoor setting chairs, right? So I've got that wrapped up in a towel. And the only reason the towel's wrapped up around it is to keep that folded, right? Because it kept popping out. It's probably all right now because it's been like that for months. I've got another towel folded in quarters. I've got another towel, or eighths or whatever it is. And I've got a thing. This is what I have to do with my chair to keep it nice and comfortable. Now, I'm going to spin this around now. You see my boat. Alright, if you do not listen to any other advice about this trip, about doing a trip like this, listen to this, right? When you test your seats out for your kayak, to see if it's comfortable, because you're going to be in there for 12 hours. Anywhere between 9 and 12 hours, you're going to be sitting in that seat, right? Even if you split it up, I don't stop at all. I just keep going for the full day. I don't pull over or anything like that. You can if you want. You lose time. It depends on the type of trip you want to do. I don't need to pull over. I'm quite happy just to keep going. If I need to get up, I just stand. I've got outriggers. I'm not going to. I have nearly fallen out a couple of times, sitting there going, whoa, like this. But I'm not going to tip over, right? I'm not going to tip over. Not with the setup. All right. Now, test your seat out. Test your seat out and sit in it in the canoe itself. Now, this seat is just an old seat from a that was in a seat frame, just a normal seat, your schoolyard seat, school classroom seat, right? So I had the frame underneath. Now I just took it off the frame, unscrewed it off the frame, and bolted it down using U-bolts onto the thing, right? Now, these are normal kayaks. These are normal canoe seats, right? So I'll show you this on this one. So the normal canoe seats, right? You know, with the almost like the seatbelt type material that's crisscrossed. Woven. Alright. Now, I sat there and tried this seat out because that's what somebody else told me online. Or, said online. Advice I gave. Right, is test your seat out, you're going to be in it for a long time. Time to start paddling again. Sorry, guys. Test your seat out and make sure it's comfortable. You're going to be in it for a long time. So I did that. But I did it inside a frame, not on this chair. Not in the canoe. Right, now the problem is that where my seat is, because these seats are narrow, the canoe seats are narrow, and I'll show you. Right, oh, you can see, I don't have to show you how narrow they are, but you're going to see, and I'm just worried about dropping my phone in the water. Right, so you can see the front bit there and the back bit. Now, if I stand up, you can see that bar goes right about there. So that is right in the middle where my backside is, right? And that was my hand. I can feel that through the seat. Right, it is painfully uncomfortable after about 2 or 3 hours of sitting in the seat. A lot more uncomfortable because I sat it in for hours. I did it over and over again several times, watching movies at home and watching TV at home and after work and whatever. And I would sit in it to make sure it was comfortable, and it was. But I never tested it out in the actual canoe itself. So, and this is just a mock-up thing, and it does work, it's okay, but I just needed to put something underneath because the middle part sinks in, and because I think most of my weight is on my butt and not on the thighs and the butt. You know what I mean? So all my weight's on that butt, on my butt. and it is painful, like literally painful. Like I'm not just saying uncomfortable, I mean pain, actual pain. So I've got like 3 layers. I've got 3 layers of soft stuff to try and get rid of it all, and it's actually more comfortable anyway. So that's the seat. Now these cushions, so all these pillows, cushions and seats, I actually have to fold up and use as a pillow as well, because the pillow on my Lilo, on my mattress thing, actually we're doing all right. We're getting quite a fair bit. So there must be a bit more current here up this end. It's going to disappear though. It's quite wide here. There's not much current. Not much current at all. I get a westerly. I'll get the current going down, and the westerly wind against me, and it just doesn't help. Now, so make sure you test your seat out exactly how you're going to have it in a canoe, not putting it, not before you actually put it together. Okay, I never tested it out. I sat in it a couple of times, but not for very long. Now, I tested it out, made sure it actually worked as a seat, but didn't sit there and stay in it and watch TV to see if it was comfortable. You know what I mean? And like I'm talking pain. I'm not just talking uncomfortable, I'm talking actual pain. So, yeah, make sure you do that. Alright, that's my canoe. That's my paddling. I might keep, I don't think, oh yeah, and a motor. I haven't used it much. That's my little motor. I've got to say, I don't want you to think I'm hiding it. I've used it for about 100, let's say 120 Ks. Wouldn't be more than that. I've used it for 120 Ks because I broke a paddle. Actually, that was when Daniel was with me, when I saw Daniel. I'd broken a paddle on the way to Swan Hill. Right, so I actually did it before Barham. I get Barham and Barham mixed up, but Barham. I did it just before Barham, and I couldn't find a spare paddle in Barham. So I had to wait till I got to Swan Hill. And I didn't want to break the only other one I had and not have any paddle at all, so I had to start using the motor. I had to be a bit sensible about it. So I've done most of the paddling. And doing most of the paddling, a lot of the paddling, so about 700 kilometres of paddling, was with a full, I'll put a photo online. Is that rain or is that just coming off here? I think it's just coming off here. I thought I felt water. I think it's coming off the actual paddle itself. So I broke a paddle, so I had to use it for about 80 kilometres there. And I would suggest, now I'm guessing this one, really. That's why I'm sort of going up to about 120, but I really don't think it is. I sit there and think that maybe another 40 kilometres of testing the motor out, mucking around with it. Right?